time for our pregame ramen!
Happy fans, happy hon!
When a group of K-pop idols traded microphones for swords, nobody expected them to shatter Netflix records. They debuted on Netflix, but conquered the charts. A K-pop girl group created entirely for an animated film, reaching Billboard's top spot. But hidden beneath the flashy fight scenes and demon-slaying hype is a story you probably missed, one that changes the way you'll see the entire series. Released June 20th, 2025, K-pop Demon Hunters took the world by storm, fast. In its first weeks, it racked up over 130 million views, making it Netflix's most-watched original animated film ever. Soon, that number climbed to 158.8 million, landing it in the platform's top 10 English-language films. At this pace, it's on track to surpass Red Notice as Netflix's most-watched film. The story follows Huntrix, a fictional K-pop girl trio who double as demon hunters. Their rivals, the demonic boy band Saja Boys, crafted by directors Maggie Kang and Chris Applehans at Sony Animation. The film blends dynamic 2D, 3D animation, K-pop choreography, Korean folklore, and concert aesthetics, creating something truly original. Golden. The film's breakout track by Huntrix soared to #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, making it the first all-female K-pop group and the first fictional act ever to achieve that. Meanwhile, Saja Boy's Your Idol hit #1 on the US Spotify chart, surpassing BTS's own record. The soundtrack album debuted top 10 on Billboard 200, the strongest showing for an animated soundtrack in 2025. Foreshadowing an Oscar nomination, Golden is already being positioned for awards consideration.
Happy hon!
Yeah! Woo!
K-pop has always thrived on reinvention. Concepts, shift, idols, transformation. But what this series did was different. It didn't just reinvent idols, it reimagined what they could be. Instead of the usual cute or cool image, these characters carried scars. They weren't flawless. They were broken in ways that felt real. Each member of the fictional group had a past that wasn't just hinted at for drama, it was woven into the main plot. This wasn't K-pop dressed in fantasy. This was trauma, pain, and sacrifice dressed in stage lights and glitter. And the music reflected that. Every song in the show's soundtrack wasn't just an earworm. It was a narrative device. Fans began dissecting lyrics for hidden meanings, theories, and connections to earlier episodes. It was like BTS's BU universe, but compressed into one adrenaline-fueled season. But here's what almost no one noticed. The thing that made this story truly addictive wasn't the music. It was the silence. And once you see it, you'll understand why this show burrowed into people's hearts.
Hey, this is the men's bathhouse. Get out of here.
In a show built on music, you'd expect the loudest moments to hit hardest. But the creators flipped that logic completely. Some of the most gut-wrenching scenes had no music at all. No vocals, no beat, just the sound of breathing, footsteps, or a demon's distant growl. One episode in particular left fans stunned. After a brutal fight where the team barely escaped, the leader walked off stage mid-performance. The camera didn't cut to an audience reaction, didn't give us an uplifting speech. It just followed her into a dark hallway. You could hear her shoes on the floor, the sound of her breathing quickening, and then nothing. That nothing forced you to feel what she felt. The emptiness, the exhaustion, the weight of leading people who might die for you. This is where the writing struck gold, because silence in a K-pop context is almost unheard of. These worlds are built on noise, light, and spectacle. Stripping that away made fans lean forward, hold their breath, and wait for the next note like their life depended on it. And that anticipation, that's what made people binge watch in one sitting. They weren't just waiting to see if the characters won. They were waiting for the moment when the music would finally come back. But here's the question no one is asking. What if the real demons in the show weren't the ones the idols were fighting, but the ones standing behind them in the spotlight? On the surface, the monsters in the series are terrifying, twisted, fanged, dripping in shadows. But the more you watch, the more you realize they're not the ones that haunt the characters most. The real demons are invisible. They're the contracts the idols can't escape. The management pressure that treats them like products, not people. The relentless demand for perfection, even when perfection is killing them. The show never says this outright, but it doesn't have to. The allegories are everywhere. A demon that drains energy but leaves no mark? That's burnout. A monster that grows stronger the more the crowd cheers? That's fame itself. In one powerful episode, a character refuses to fight a demon because she's tired of pretending. It's a line that feels almost too raw to be fiction, echoing the real-life burnout stories we've heard from actual K-pop idols. And the wildest part? Some fans didn't catch it at all. They were too focused on the action, the fight choreography, the perfect high notes, which is exactly the point. The system thrives when you're distracted by the spectacle. By the time you realize the true villains aren't the demons in the streets, but the humans in the boardrooms, the show has already gotten under your skin. Because in this story, slaying the monster doesn't guarantee freedom. Sometimes, it just means you've become valuable enough to own.
No.
I'm sorry for everything.
No. I wanted to set you free.
You did. You gave me my soul back.
By the final episodes, you expect a classic victory. The big boss demon defeated, the team reunited, the city safe. But instead, the show flips the table. The last fight is brutal, but it's not the one you've been preparing for. The true final battle isn't against a monster at all. It's against the system that created the monsters. When the protagonist finally has a chance to end it all, she doesn't kill the demon leader. She walks away. Not out of mercy, but because she realizes that destroying one face of evil doesn't destroy the machine that made it. And then comes the haunting moment that made fans freeze. The very next scene, a new group of trainees, smiling, eager, and full of hope, is being prepared for training. The audience knows exactly what that means. The cycle is starting again. It's not a happy ending. It's not even a sad ending. It's a mirror, one that shows how easy it is for a dream to turn into a cage. The more you think about it, the more it feels like the show wasn't just telling a story about demons and idols. It was quietly asking you, are you watching the fight? Or are you part of the crowd cheering while someone else gets devoured? Because sometimes the scariest monsters aren't the ones we're afraid of. They're the ones we applaud. If this breakdown opened your eyes to the layers beneath the action, join our community for more hidden truths and untold stories from the animated worlds you love. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and we'll see you in the next one.